Hello Deanna, this is Jamie. This is a short sample of how to do the Peruvian knitting. As an introduction, my friend had her mom and her dad as missionaries in Peru, and because the ladies down there knit for money, they have to be extremely fast. And while I was moaning and groaning and telling her one day how hard it was for me to pay attention to get anything done, she showed me how the ladies in Peru do it. One of the first things you'll notice is that in my right hand I hold my needle like a pencil, and it's just like an average pencil, as if you were writing, and my left hand holds it normally. This is neither English nor continental, so it has just maybe a rule or two of its own. A lot of the difference is going to be is that my working needle, or excuse me, my moving needle, the one I'm working onto, is doing all the work. To wrap my tension, I go once around my pinky, and then I go around the back of my middle finger. This is what it looks like from the top. Again, I wrap around my pinky one time and around the back of my middle finger. I'll throw my yarn with my middle finger, and we'll begin with a knit stitch. The only thing my left hand will be doing is moving my stitches up and occasionally helping my needle to push around. It's just a habit I've developed. Alright, with a regular knit stitch, you enter from the front to the back. Again, I'll raise my middle finger, and I sort of slide my hand up my needle and around. Once you get going faster, it will be more of your middle finger that will do the motion, not so much your hand sliding. Again, that's front to back, throw, and through. So I'm getting caught up there. Front to back, throw, and off. Again, front to back, throw, through, and off. Now, while your hand is, it may seem like you have no control with this hand here, because it doesn't, you don't have a grip on it like you would in a normal situation. But that's what you want, is because you want your hand to be able to move up. When you start getting a longer piece, you've done several rows, you'll actually have to have your material up, your fabric over your thumb, and you'll want to be able to move along the back ridge of your material easily, so your needle is supported by your left hand. The work holds the needle itself. Again, this is what the rest of your row will look like, and I'm slowing this down so you can see it, how my middle finger is throwing. All of the work is done by the right hand. Move my tail here. From the front to the back, throw, through, and you can see my finger here. I just guide it off, to push it back through and off my needle. And my thumb will work those stitches up the left needle. This is slowed down. This is real time. There's no anomaly. I haven't done anything different with my settings on my computer or on my video. That's the first row. Peruvian knitting only has maybe a couple of exceptions, and that's going to be in your eyelet rows. Anytime you have an eyelet, you wrap it differently than you would a continental or a English method, just because of the way you make your stitches. If you are to do your knit stitch again, that's front to back, throw with your middle finger, and this is what a normal row looks like for me. Maybe a little bit more jerky because I'm trying to watch the camera and the computer at the same time. One of my easiest projects, of course, are socks because I do them in the round, not in the flat. I don't usually work with flat needles unless I have special projects and sections of projects that use and require them. And when you start working in the round, it is quite a bit faster. So again, we'll do one more row. Maybe this little bit of length will help me pick up my speed some. And again, I'm sorry, my yarn has been done and redone trying to do and redo this video because I've gotten interrupted by the phone a couple times. So I'm starting to split my yarn now, taking it off and having to cast on again. Okay, so there's the stockinette stitch for you. This is about 20 stitches. Again, real time, no different settings on my camera or anything. For the purl stitch, again, I've wrapped it around my pinky over the back of my middle finger, and you can see the yarn is coming out of the back of the needle, or what is most towards me. Let me adjust my camera here a second. Okay, and I will enter, you'll see my needle, I'm having problems with the camera. My needle is on the back side of my yarn, but because it's coming out here, it will look like it's on the front side of my work. It is not. I am entering from the back to the front of the stitch, so we go from back to front. And the neat thing about this is that your purl rows go just as fast as your knit rows. There is no lamenting for me over if I have to do a purl row or not. And just because all my work is still done, it's the same motion with my finger. It's the same direction, just the same as my knit stitch. So again, that's front to or back to front, throw, and then off. Back to front, throw, and then off. Okay, this is what it's slowed down so you can see. It's primarily just the same motion, so you don't lose speed in purl rows. Okay, I love this. Even if I do have to do a purl row, if I'm reinforcing a heel or if I'm doing a certain pattern on my sock, it just makes no difference. Alright, we'll end up making a reverse stockinette stitch here, and I will make, again, I'm doing a purl stitch, front or back to front, around and off, and this is what a normal row looks like for me. Again, this is in the flat, so it's a little bit more difficult for me to do. I'm used to having the other needles banging against my hands. And I've treated myself to some new bamboo needles when my mother was here. So this is the first time I've actually let myself use them, so the kids haven't gotten into them and ran off with them. Okay. Now, when you are making an eyelet row, there's only going to be a couple of differences.